Hello and welcome to my channel Live My Journey and to my review of ND filters for the DJI Air 2S made by Freewell. This review is not sponsored, however I have been sent these filters free of charge. The filter set I will be reviewing today is the all-day 8-pack consisting of 5 polarized ND filters ranging from ND4 to ND64, as well as clear polarizing filter and 2 high-value ND filters for daylight long exposure photography, the ND1000 and ND2000. I'm going to quickly debunk the myth of ND filters improving the image quality in photography that spreads like wildfire amongst people new to drone photography. In fact, a good ND filter should not affect the image at all. The role of ND filter is allowing less light to enter the camera sensor. This in turn allows us to slow down the shutter speed. The main reason to do so is to introduce motion blur into our videos to eliminate jumpy playback. In photography, this could allow for moving elements of the frame to become blurred. In order to achieve optimal motion blur in video, we want to set our shutter speed as close to 1/2 times FPS as possible. If you set that kind of shutter speed during daylight hours, you will find that your image is very much overexposed, meaning unnaturally bright. Video like this will be pretty much unusable and beyond recovery. This is why we want to employ these filters. A good quality ND or natural density filter will uniformly limit the amount of light while leaving the color cast unchanged. What I found that the cheap, poor quality filters do is create a vignette, the image darkening further away from the center of the image, and a strong color cast, usually a magenta tint. The filters I'm reviewing today are polarized ND filters. This means that aside from limiting the amount of light, the filter can also reduce the glare, limit or remove reflections from non-metallic surfaces. This could help you see through, for example, surfaces of water or glass where normally reflections would make this impossible. Through cutting out the glare, the colors like blue and green become more vivid. You can save some detail from otherwise uniform white surfaces reflecting a lot of light. The effect of polarization is dependent on the direction of the camera will be facing and the position of the polarizing ring on your filter. I would suggest for you to look up some videos on this feature, as I do not want to waste too much of your time on this occasion. I believe that this feature, although very useful, is harder to use on drone than a handheld camera, as we can't adjust the polarization while the drone is up in the air. So let's have a look at the filters. They come nicely packaged. You get some labels and information leaflets, as well as nice microfiber cleaning cloth for your filters. The filters themselves come with a very well made carry case with magnetic clasp and a foam insert for holding the filters. My insert was either not cut to the size properly or just not glued in as well in the middle, as the middle was a bit convex. It doesn't affect its performance, but detracts a tiny bit from otherwise great impression. The filters are very well made. They are made of quality metal and optical glass. The rings on the polarizing filters turn easily, but with enough friction that you can be sure they will not turn by themselves. Both the ring and the frame are marked with a white notch for reference. The Freewell filters are just as easy to install on the camera as the empty frame that comes with the drone or the original ND filters sold by the DJI. The camera accepts their weight and has no problem with self-calibration while the filter is on. The filter doesn't stick out and doesn't catch on anything. In the set we get 5 polarized ND filters in factor of 4, 8, 16, 32 and 64. So we are covered for any amount of light during our filming. We also get a clear polarizing filter when we don't want to decrease the amount of light or slow down the shutter speed, which will mostly be used in photography. We also get 2 interesting filters just for photography. They will limit the amount of light by a factor of 1000 and 2000 times, so we can enable these extra long exposure times during daylight. If you wanted to set an exposure time of 1 second, but the image would be perfectly exposed at 1,000th of a second, this first filter and the 1000 would allow you to do just that. Now these are the kinds of pictures you can get using a very long exposure time during daylight. Now, after using all the filters for a few times during some video shoots and taking occasional photos, I noticed no negative indicators that I would expect from poor quality filters. No vignette, no nasty color cast, no abnormal flares, no problems with gimbal motor overload. That's all excellent news. It means we are, as expected, dealing with a quality product. To best appreciate the quality of the filters, I have recorded some nice clips for you to enjoy, and then later some more boring, near identical clips and pictures with all the filters that I will share via link in the description. For good measure, I have included some samples of the original ND filters made by the DJI, ranging from 4 to 32. My photographer friend offered me his opinion based on the samples I've sent him, and he said he would pick the Freewell by a small margin. The only filter that stood out in the comparison was the ND32 by DJI. It unexpectedly added considerable amount of color cast. My methodology for the test was simple. The same frame or shot for each video and photo, with the ISO set to 100 and shutter speed adjusted so that the EV read was of minus 0.7 for all photos and videos. I can honestly recommend this set. It covers most bases. We get full coverage for the filming with all three most used values by myself, the 16, 32 and 64 being available, as well as covering our photo needs with the clear polarizing filter, as well as ND1000 and ND2000 that will enable us to take long exposure photos during daylight. Something that can become quite a good tool in a creative photographer's repertoire. The Freewell filters also come with a lifetime guarantee. Hopefully the build quality will be good enough for them to last and we don't have to use it, but it's nice to know that we are covered if something goes wrong. Thanks for watching this review and see you soon.